here pre-Friday, a.k.a. Thursday, October 16th, 2025. It's Peach's Pit Party right here on K-Bear 101. I've been listening to nonstop just extreme metal tracks because we're getting ready to add a whole bunch more songs to Jenk Show, which happens, by the way, Saturday nights, 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. Adding some, what do we got here? Cryptopsy, Resistor, Igor, New Testament, a band called Big Bleep Truck. Yeah, there's that too. If you want to get a hold of me, you can over at 208-535-1015. I have to go through every single one of these songs and make sure there's no naughty language, you know? Sometimes bands are nice enough to put out the radio edit, but then still, I will listen to the entire thing because you never know what can happen. There was one time I was sent the new song. I was sent some sort of song from the Butcher Babies, and it said radio edit, but I still listened to it. Sure enough, the first 5 F-bombs were censored, but then all of a sudden, it just stopped being the clean version halfway through, and then there was all the rest of the F-bombs, and I talked to Heidi from Butcher Babies shortly after that and said, hey, you know that radio edit that you sent out? It's got some naughty language on there still. What are you doing? All of my interviews, by the way, can be found via the Artist Interrogations podcast, wherever you get your podcasts, me talking with a wide variety of artists like Heidi from Butcher Babies, Jolly from Bad Omens, Chris Motionless of Motionless and White. The list goes on. And Peach's Pit Party will continue here in just a few on K-Bear 101. My back is definitely healing, feeling a whole lot better compared to a week ago. Last Thursday, it was awful. And through tons of time with the heat pad, tons of ibuprofen, a couple chiropractor visits, it's finally feeling a lot better. I'm kind of tired of standing up, looking like an obtuse angle. My right hip just goes out a little bit. It's not as bad as it was last week, but it's still not 100%. At least my back didn't break. I was reading about this story. I was reading this story about this bride's mom was hospitalized after a freak cow accident at her daughter's wedding. She said she felt her entire spine just crack. Yeah. The mother of the bride claims a cow jumped on her back at the reception. Where were they having? Oh, they had it in Wisconsin. I was about to ask where on earth were they having this wedding? Just on some random farm somewhere where the cows are just loose? And also during the reception, wouldn't you kind of, I don't know, be aware there's a cow behind you? Or did the cow charge her just out of nowhere, like specifically her? So many questions. Was everybody just celebrating and this cow was like, you know what? I'm going to take this lady out. Just ran up to her, broke her back. At least she's alive. That's the good part. Oh, wait, here we go. Guests were encouraged to take photos with the cattle. So the mom did just that, but her cute photo opportunity quickly turned into a nightmare, is what People magazine wrote. She says, I just squatted down to give one a little kiss on the nose and to take a picture, and within like a second, all of a sudden, the cow had jumped up and put his hooves on my shoulders. Yikes. Well, she's alive, thankfully. I'd rather have my back issues than have my entire spine just completely broken in half. I'm hoping this lady eats a lot of burgers as revenge. You know what's crazy? I just saw the news that over 50% of the internet is now AI slop. Can you believe that? Somebody researched it all and said, yeah, over half the things online are now all AI generated. And ChatGPT launched in November of 2022. Tons of people on Facebook have been sharing AI generated crap. I myself posted the one video of me dressing up as Peach Man at Peach Fest. I think somebody even commented saying, where is that? It's entirely fake. I wish Peach Fest was real. I'm sure there's something similarly called that maybe in Georgia, because, you know, that's the peach state. I know there's the Brigham City Peach Days that I still need to go to. There was one time I went to Winco and they had peach everything. They had like peach plates, peach bowls, peach cups. I don't know why. It was just that one time 4 years ago, and I bought every single one of them, and they're now a part of my peach collection. I think that's what sparked my peach collection. My parents have cabinets full of peach stuff. I need to keep that tradition going. I used to have a bath mat that says peachy clean on it. So yeah, there's that. There's all that. I think Aubrey saw a whole peach vase looking thing at DI, so she got me that for $1.50. Anything peach whatsoever, I enjoy. I have these kitchen towels that say "I love you" to peaches. Silly stuff, I know. Milwaukee Bucks fans have worried about Giannis Antetokounmpo getting traded to another team while his value is at its peak. And now they have to worry about him heading back to Greece before his playing career is over. In an appearance on a Greek talk show, Giannis said, "I'm 30 years old. I can play in the NBA until I'm 36, 38 maybe. I would like to end my career in a Greek team. Why not? I don't want to live in the United States. As soon as I leave the NBA, I want to return to Greece," is what he said. The Los Angeles Dodgers sprinted out to a 2-0 lead in the NLCS over the Milwaukee Brewers, and that came even though one player's family wanted to get away from ghosts. Is this called the Pfister Hotel? Pfister? Do they try saying it's Pfister? Maybe it is Pfister. The Pfister Hotel. Oh, man, that would suck. The Pfister Hotel is legendary for having ghosts that haunt the rooms of visiting players. Dodgers outfielder Teoscar Hernandez. How do you say his name? Teoscar Hernandez. He told reporters, "I don't believe in ghosts. I have stayed in there before. I've never seen anything or heard anything. But my wife, Jennifer, is on this trip, and she said she doesn't want to stay there whatsoever. So we had to find another hotel." Hernandez added, "I've been hearing from other players and other wives that it's something happening in these couple of nights." ESPN and Amazon football analyst Kirk Herbstreit is one of the busiest sports broadcasters each fall as he works Thursday Night Football, hosts College Game Day on Saturday mornings, and calls the biggest college football game of the week on Saturday afternoon or night for ESPN. And all that travel leaves him a bit disoriented. Herbstreit was recently asked how often he wakes up in the middle of the night and doesn't know what city he's in. He says it happens quite often. I think the hardest thing is if you said, "Where were you last week?" That's the hardest thing to know. I know where I am right now and I know where I'm going this week, but other than that, I don't know a whole lot. So I basically he can just relate to every touring artist or band out there. That does it for your Shot Clock Sports Update right here on K-Bear 101. I debating sharing what I shared on my Facebook at Brendan Peach. Somebody made an image that just said, "Hey, don't be mean to teenagers." Overall, it said, "Don't be mean to teenagers who are just trying to trick or treat. You'd rather have them innocently celebrating the holiday rather than partying, right?" Says Halloween reminder, teenagers who seem too old to trick or treat they chose childhood over partying. Be happy and hand over the Reese's. And I say this every year. Please do not be that person that says, "Aren't you a little old to trick or treat?" It may sound funny to some, but I was always the bigger kid. I mean, I was 5'8" at 10 years old, right? I was larger than all my classmates growing up. And every single year, starting from like 7 to, I don't know, when I stopped trick-or-treating, I would get asked that question by some old boomer. "Aren't you a little old to be trick-or-treating?" And then my mom would have to butt in and say, "No, he's not. He's 8," type of thing. It sounds silly, right? But I mean, that could be detrimental to some kid who is just trying to celebrate the holiday, with some other kids who are much, much shorter and look much younger. And still, why is there an age limit on trick-or-treating? Why can't I just go out and trick-or-treat? If I'm in a costume and I have a bucket and I show up on Halloween night and say trick-or-treat, can that be an experiment we do? I feel like I might be forced to do something like that. Put on my best costume Halloween night, go around maybe Idaho Falls. I should test it out in all the different cities. No, I don't think there would be enough time for me to do so, but maybe if I were to go around Idaho Falls saying trick or treat, and I maybe have like a little hidden GoPro on me, I wish I had those Ray-Ban Meta glasses that I could use to record, because then I could put on the Howard Stern costume, even though he doesn't have a beard. I'm not going to shave off my beard for a costume either. But maybe I could just put on the Howard Stern wig that I have, the glasses, the outfit and such, and just go around town and trick or treat. See how many people ask me that dumb question. Who cares if I'm nearly 30 and just want some candy, okay? Hand over the Reese's, as this picture says here. Let's talk some more about Halloween candy, because it pops up every year as well. Those stupid memes about, like, hey, if you like candy corn, you'll like eating crayons as well. I don't mind candy corn. I think circus peanuts are really bad. I also think, you know what really does suck? Those stupid wax bottles. My dumb butt tried eating one of those whole bottles in my mouth, and I'm like, why is it still so chewy? Oh, it's wax. You're supposed to just have the liquid from inside the bottle and then throw away the rest. Yeah, genius of the day. By the way, you can hear that segment every weekday morning, 6:45, or some weekday mornings at 6:45 on the Victor Wiltz Show. I was looking at this map. Now, I don't know how credible this map is. You never really know. It's just dumb radio things to talk about. Where trick-or-treaters are most likely to get candy corn. And there's a state-by-state map of which, whatever state you're in. Let's see here. What state is number one when it comes to most likely to get candy corn? Mississippi. Every time Mississippi's in the news, it's never good. They're number one for car accidents. They're number one for crime for the most part. I've noticed quite a lot of bad things about Mississippi, hence why a giant house down there is like 20 grand. They'll pretty much pay you for a house in Mississippi. What state is this below South Dakota? Do I really need to pull up another map with the state names on it? Am I that bad at geography? USA map. Just give me the state-by-state one. Nebraska. Nebraska is that high on the map? Okay, yeah, I guess I am that bad at geography. They're number two when it comes to most likely to get candy corn. Idaho is number 38, so we're kind of decent, I would think. California, 44. Texas, 32. Iowa's number 4. Where's number 3 at? Kentucky, most likely to get candy corn. I don't mind candy corn. Really, I don't. Oh, wow, this article really goes in depth about Halloween candy odds, like where you're most likely to get a Reese's, where you're most likely to get peanut M&Ms. The list goes on. Toothbrushes. You know what? Now that I'm older, I wouldn't mind getting a toothbrush. If I got multiple toothbrushes on Halloween, I would just save them up, you know? Have some backups. It doesn't hurt to have those, right? Now, I don't know if this is true or not. I've been told this, I think by my parents growing up, that if you own a black cat if you have a black cat around this time of year, make sure to keep them inside because of weird rituals that people do. And I don't know if I believe that or not. Do people actually do that type of thing, or is it an urban legend that people will see a black cat closer to Halloween and be like, all right, we're taking this one. We're going to do some sort of ritual with this thing. Luckily, somebody commented on this thread saying it's been an urban legend where I live that adoption agencies wouldn't let anyone adopt a black cat in October for the reason of the whole ritual thing. I've never bothered to check if it's true. And then someone said, I always assumed it was more people who like Halloween might get excited about having a black cat and then realize they don't actually want a cat and then return it to the shelter. Which, I mean, anybody who does that really does suck. Especially those that gift puppies towards Christmas time. And then the puppy grows up, you know? And then the family's like, we don't want him anymore. He's not cute. Imagine if you did that with your kid. Oh, we don't like the kid anymore. Actually, there are people out there who have done that type of thing too. I shouldn't joke about that whatsoever. I guess for this one particular thing that I'm looking at, this This one town banned black cat adoptions over fear of Halloween rituals, and people were just discussing that whole subject matter. I'll have to ask Victor, see what he thinks about that when he comes in tomorrow. Let's go into some I Prevail on K-Bear 101. I'm extremely glad to see that a lot of people right now are quitting Spotify, just because Spotify is allowing a lot of different things politically. And then also there's been an influx of AI artists popping up on Spotify. And the lead singer of Holding Absence, I believe his name is Lucas Woodland. I think that's his last name. He went on to Twitter, or X as you call it now, and said there was an AI generated band that was modeled after us that now has double the monthly listeners than Holding Absence. And they got that within like 2 months. Isn't that absurd? I forgot exactly what the band's name is called. And I wouldn't necessarily want to share it on the air because I don't want to give them the spotlight. But Holding Absence has been a band for quite some time, and they're awesome. All right, I played a couple of their tracks previously. I think there was one recently. I'm trying to figure out what the song was called, but that's besides the point. There are a lot of AI artists all of a sudden just popping up specifically on Spotify. And I see people like Rory Rodriguez of Dayseeker, Lee Jennings of The Funeral Portrait, so many other artists from Ashes to New taking stands against AI-generated bands. And it's quite sad to see that these AI artists are just successful right now. Because there are a lot of people out there that just listen to it and they like the sound of it. There was one making the rounds on TikTok. People were like, oh, what band is this? And then they found out it was AI-generated and quickly shut that down. Luckily they did, but that band sounded awesome. You know, you want to listen to real people and not artificial intelligence. Like this band right here. This band's been around for quite some time, and I think they're awesome. Turnstile, Never Enough on K-Bear 101. I finally finished getting all of these tracks in the Jenk Show library. If you're not familiar with Jenk Show, if you're a newer listener, Saturday nights from 10 p.m. to 2 a.m., we really amp things up around here and just go 4 hours of nothing but extreme metal, and it's a whole lot of fun. We added some more Cryptopsy, Kublai Khan. What else is on this list here? I mean, there's a ton of newer bands I haven't even heard of as well. Also got bands like Igor on there, Heavy Hitter, Drain, Biohazard, Revocation, New Testament as well. We really amp it up, and we're not joking. So Saturday nights, if you really want to party hard, 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. is Jenk Show. For the most part, it's hosted by our one, the only Victor Wilt. And I always try my best to keep the library as updated as possible. I've been secretly adding tracks for the past couple of months. And then now, here's one of the biggest updates we have done in quite some time, and I'm really looking forward to the feedback on that. If you like it, if you don't like it, let us know. You can always hit us up at 208-535-1015. Hit us up on social media at KBear 101 FM. Again, Jenk Show, Saturday nights, 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. Stay up late for it. It's worth it. All right, I know Victor talked about this morning, but I saw it and had to put my 2 cents in on it as well. On Ask Reddit, someone asked the question, people born before 2000, what trivial skill do you have that no one uses anymore? I was born in 1996. I know, such a baby. Every single time I say that, someone says, you're so young. You're just so young. I'm 75. Like, okay, cool, good for you. I'm happy for you. But let's see here. People born before 2000, what trivial skill do you have that no one uses anymore? My brain still has about a dozen landline numbers from 1998 locked and loaded, completely useless information, taking up the space where I'm supposed to remember why I walked into this room. I have some of my friends' numbers memorized. I just memorized my girlfriend's number just in case all of a sudden I collapse to the floor and I need... Actually, you know what? I can just type in her name, because I was about to say, unless I need to remember her number, like go to a payphone, but those don't exist, really. Cleaning mouse balls and the mouse gets slow and sticky. Yeah, you don't have those really anymore. I can make a book cover out of a brown paper bag to protect a textbook. That was one of the most unnecessary things in school ever. I remember like 6th through 8th grade, if you didn't have your textbooks covered, they almost shot you. Like, that's how bad it was. Like, my teachers were handing out detentions if you didn't have that stupid brown bag on top of the textbook. What do they do now? Do they have everything electronically? Is that what it is? I feel like such an old man saying that. Where's my old car horn? There it is. rolling up to school, blasting that. Everyone talking about reading a map is correct, but folding the map back is the real talent. I'm so glad we have GPS. I'm so glad we no longer have to use MapQuest even. Like, MapQuest sucked back in the day, trying to get to people's houses using these pieces of paper that my mom printed out. I would be told to be quiet in the back seat because they were trying to focus on what street to turn on and all of that. Another answer here for people born before 2000, what skill do you have? Or what was it again? It's what trivial skill do you have that no one else uses anymore? I was trying not to lose my thing here on the page. I had a professor in college show us how to fold a newspaper so you can read it on the subway one-handed. Do they even still make the newspaper anymore? Or does everyone like kind of use the newspaper to wrap gifts in or things like that? I don't know. Daughtry here, the bottom on K-Bear 101. All right, so today there's two really crazy news stories. One of them is a missing piece of NASA equipment crash landed on this Texas woman's property. There's that story that we'll get to in just a few more minutes here. I wanted to talk about this Florida man that was arrested for a drive-by attack involving a cheeseburger. A former strip club employee in Tampa was arrested last week for a drive-by attack, not with a gun, but with that cheeseburger. He's 26 years old. Jordan Cotto pulled up outside the Atlantis Gentlemen's Club, hoping to speak with management. But things quickly escalated into a heated argument. That's when investigators say he reached down, grabbed that cheeseburger, and hurled it at the man, hitting him on the shoulder. Obviously, the victim wasn't hurt at all. Oh, it does say the victim wasn't seriously hurt, but the beefy projectile did cause what police described as bodily harm. Oh, what do you mean? Like a slight bruise? Not even that. Just a bit of tomato on this guy's shoulder. When questioned, Jordan Cotto reportedly admitted to the burger toss and showed zero remorse. In fact, he told officers he'd do it again. Well, obviously he was arrested. No gun, just bun. In today's What the Headline, right here on K-Bear 101. So this woman in West Texas, she got quite the surprise. She looked up, saw a massive parachute drifting through the sky, ultimately crash landing on her property. She thought the object that landed was a weather balloon and called the sheriff's office. Little did she know that the sheriff was already aware of something falling out of the sky because he had received a call from NASA asking if he had located a piece of equipment that they had lost. Turns out the equipment had been launched from Fort Sumner, New Mexico, by NASA's Columbia Scientific Balloon Team. It was part of an experiment to improve telescope accuracy, but strong winds blown it off the course. It blown it far off course. She was so intrigued, she called her job to ask if she could come in late. They said yes. She got to witness the retrieval of some high-tech gear firsthand. She later shared the experience on Facebook, calling it a once-in-a-lifetime moment. That would be cool. That would be pretty awesome. I thought this was going to be like something just crashed and landed on her front yard and she was trying to claim it was from NASA. You ever see those like fake stories online? I forgot. Oh, yeah, that's what the subreddit's called. I've talked about this particular subreddit before. It's called Untrustworthy Pop-Tart. It's where people claim like certain things are in their drinks or food. Like, oh, how did a dead frog get in my ice cream? And sure enough, their story ends up on Untrustworthy Pop-Tart, which you don't necessarily know if it's true or not. I mean, what if there was somehow a dead frog inside this container, this half gallon of mint chocolate chip, just some frog in there? Like somehow that got through. Somebody bought that. What are the odds of something like that happening to you? I don't want to Google specifically that. What are the odds that you find something horrendous in your food? Is there anything at all? No, nothing? All right. Let's move on to some K-Bear rockin' Halloween music haunted by Juicity Vapor, Arctic Monkeys. Here's Pretty Visitors. I feel like October's gone by extremely slow. It's only the 16th. I don't know if it has something to do with seeing Christmas and Thanksgiving stuff, mostly Christmas, all around Walmart and such, that I'm thinking it's like way far ahead. But no, we're not even to Halloween yet. I don't even know what my plans are going to be for Halloween. I know I got to work that day because it's on a Friday, 8 to 5, like usual. Same old stuff, Halloween. Usually pretty boring when you're an adult. I did share that whole giant thing on Facebook talking about, Don't be that person that says, aren't you a little too old to be trick-or-treating? For some reason, people laugh reacted to that particular post that I made, and it wasn't meant to be funny. I don't know if they were just like laughing at what I said or if they were just thinking that the joke is funny and they didn't see my caption. I don't know, but don't be a jerk this Halloween. Really. Hand out the candy no matter no matter who's at your front door, hand them the candy. Thanks for listening to Peach's Pit Party, the podcast. If you enjoyed the show, please share, subscribe, and rate the podcast. Peach's Pit Party is hosted by me, Peaches, a.k.a. Brendan Peach, and is a production of Riverbend Media Group. For more information or to contact the show, visit riverbendmediagroup.com. Until next time, Peach out.